Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, gasping for air, feeling like you're suffocating? Or perhaps your partner has commented that you stop breathing during sleep, followed by an explosive snore that sounds like a last desperate gasp for air. This is the terrifying reality for the more than 936 million people worldwide who suffer from sleep apnea, a condition that affects nearly 50% of people over 60. And the scariest part, many of these individuals have no idea they're risking their lives every night. When you have sleep apnea, your brain is repeatedly deprived of oxygen throughout the night, sometimes hundreds of times. This isn't just a nighttime nuisance, it's a silent killer that increases your risk of heart attack by 140%, stroke by 60%, and can reduce your life expectancy by up to 12 years. What if I told you that some of the foods you're likely consuming daily are dramatically worsening this condition? Foods that seem harmless, perhaps even touted as healthy, but are secretly sabotaging your sleep, increasing inflammation in your airways and literally suffocating you while you sleep, particularly after age 60. When your body is already dealing with significant metabolic changes, these foods can be the difference between waking up refreshed or feeling like you spent the night fighting for every breath. The good news: there are also foods that can completely transform the quality of your sleep, significantly reduce apnea episodes, and restore the energized mornings you may no longer remember. Over years of studying and researching this topic, I've discovered a definitive list of the 5 worst dietary villains that are destroying your sleep, and 4 nutritional heroes that can combat sleep apnea surprisingly effectively. This information has changed the lives of countless people who thought they were doomed to a life of uncomfortable CPAP machines, or worse, simply accepting chronic fatigue as a normal part of aging. You deserve to know exactly what you're doing to your body, and more importantly, how to make simple changes that can literally save your life. If you're watching this video, you probably already suspect something isn't right with your sleep, or perhaps you're worried about a loved one showing signs of apnea. I want you to know that you're not alone on this journey. Millions of people face the same challenges every night, and many of them have found relief through the information I'm going to share today. This channel is dedicated to providing knowledge based on up-to-date scientific research, but presented in a way that anyone can immediately understand and apply. By subscribing and activating the notification bell, you'll have access to regular content that can transform not only your nights, but also your overall health and quality of life. Each video is created with people like you in mind who deserve to sleep soundly and wake up energized to fully enjoy their days. Furthermore, by becoming part of this community, you'll be connected with others who share similar experiences, creating a support network where no one has to face sleep apnea alone. The comments below our videos often become spaces for valuable exchange of experiences and practical tips. So if this is your first time here, give this life-changing content a try. Sign up now and join thousands of others who are regaining control over their sleep and health. Before we dive into the specific foods that affect sleep apnea, it's crucial to understand exactly what happens to your body during an apnea episode, especially after age 60. Obstructive sleep apnea. The most common type occurs when your throat muscles relax excessively during sleep, allowing the soft tissue at the back of your throat to collapse and block your airway. This blockage interrupts your breathing sometimes for 10 seconds or more until your brain senses the drop in oxygen levels and briefly awakens you to reopen your airway. These awakenings are so brief that most people don't remember them, but they are enough to fragment your sleep and prevent you from reaching the deepest, most restorative stages of the sleep cycle. As you age, this problem tends to worsen significantly. After age 60, the natural loss of muscle tone also affects the throat muscles, making them more prone to collapse. Furthermore, changes in body fat distribution with greater accumulation in the neck region can further narrow the airways. Hormonal changes also play a significant role, especially for women after menopause, when declining estrogen levels remove a protective factor against sleep apnea. Furthermore, the changes in circadian rhythm that naturally occur with age can further disrupt your sleep patterns, creating a vicious cycle of fragmented sleep and worsened apnea. It's as if your body is facing a perfect storm that compromises your ability to breathe properly during sleep, just when you need rest most. Now imagine that in addition to all these natural aging changes, you're unconsciously adding fuel to the fire through your diet. Certain foods can significantly increase inflammation in your body, including in the tissues of your airways, making them more swollen and prone to collapse during sleep. Others can overly relax your muscles, including those crucial for keeping your airways open. Some can even interfere with the production of neurotransmitters essential for healthy sleep or disrupt your circadian rhythm. It's a silent sabotage that happens 3 times a day, every time you sit down to a meal, unaware of these hidden enemies of your sleep. Let's start by revealing the first of the 5 worst foods that destroy your sleep and worsen apnea, especially after age 60. Foods high in refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, white breads, pastas, cakes, cookies, sugary breakfast cereals and soda may seem comfortable and familiar, but they are silently sabotaging your sleep. When you consume these foods, especially close to bedtime, your body experiences rapid spikes in blood glucose, followed by equally dramatic drops. These abrupt fluctuations in blood sugar levels can disrupt your sleep, causing nighttime awakenings and making it difficult to enter the deeper stages of sleep. But the problem goes far beyond that. Regular consumption of refined sugars also promotes chronic inflammation throughout the body, including the tissues of the upper airway. This inflammation causes swelling further, narrowing the already compromised airway in people with sleep apnea. Furthermore, obesity is one of the main risk factors for sleep apnea, and excessive consumption of these simple carbohydrates significantly contributes to weight gain, especially in the abdominal and neck regions, critical areas that directly affect the severity of sleep apnea. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine found that people who followed a diet rich in sugars and refined carbohydrates were 48% more likely to develop moderate to severe sleep apnea compared to those who limited their consumption of these foods. Imagine a person who, after decades of eating white bread for breakfast, pasta for lunch, and sweet desserts after dinner, begins to experience severe symptoms of sleep apnea at age 65. Initially, they attribute their chronic fatigue and lack of energy simply to their age, not realizing that their daily dietary choices were literally suffocating them during sleep. After replacing these refined carbohydrates with whole grain options and drastically reducing her sugar intake, she noticed a significant improvement not only in her sleep quality, but also in her daytime energy, mental clarity, and even a reduced need to use her CPAP machine on its highest setting. The second dietary villain ruining your sleep is surprisingly something many consider part of a relaxing nighttime routine: alcohol. That red wine you drink to help you sleep, or that after-dinner digestive, may be having exactly the opposite effect. Alcohol is a powerful muscle relaxant, and while this may help you fall asleep faster initially, it creates disaster for people with sleep apnea. When throat muscles already compromised by aging relax further under the influence of alcohol, the likelihood of airway collapse increases dramatically. Studies show that alcohol consumption can increase the number and duration of apnea episodes by up to 25%, even in people who normally have only mild apnea. Alcohol also suppresses REM sleep, a crucial phase for memory consolidation and emotional regulation, and disrupts the production of melatonin, a hormone essential for a healthy sleep cycle. For people over 60, These effects are even more pronounced as the body metabolizes alcohol more slowly, with age prolonging its negative effects throughout the night. Furthermore, alcohol is dehydrating, which can increase the viscosity of mucus in the airways, further contributing to obstruction. Imagine someone who, after decades of believing their nightly glass of wine was helping them relax, discovers they were inadvertently turning 7 hours of sleep into only 4 hours of real rest due to repeated episodes of alcohol-induced apnea. By completely eliminating alcohol for just 2 weeks, this person noticed a drastic reduction in snoring as reported by their partner, and began waking up feeling truly rested for the first time in years, without the hangover feeling even without having drunk excessively the night before. The third enemy of your quality sleep is foods high in saturated and trans fats. Fatty meats, fried foods, fast food, industrially prepared baked goods, and ultra-processed foods are part of this category, which not only harms your heart but also destroys your sleep. These fats promote systemic inflammation and cellular oxidation, processes that negatively affect all parts of the body, including the respiratory system. A study published in the American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine demonstrated that diets high in saturated fats are associated with greater severity of sleep apnea regardless of body weight. This means that even people who are not overweight can suffer the negative effects of these fats on sleep quality. These fats also hinder digestion, especially when consumed close to bedtime. An overloaded digestive system can put pressure on the diaphragm and make breathing even more difficult during sleep, especially when lying down. For people over 60 whose metabolism is already naturally slower, consuming these fats creates a significant additional burden on the body during a period that should be for restoration and recovery. Imagine a person who, after years of eating meals rich in fatty meats and fried foods, especially at dinner, constantly wakes up with morning headaches and unexplained high blood pressure. Their tests showed severe episodes of sleep apnea with alarming drops in oxygen levels during the night. By radically changing their diet, replacing these harmful fats with healthy fat sources like avocado, nuts, and olive oil, they not only significantly improved their apnea scores, but also saw a reduction in blood pressure and overall inflammation, allowing them to reduce several medications they had been taking for years. If you're finding this information helpful and surprising, I'd like to ask you to take a moment to leave a comment below with the number 1. This not only helps me understand that this content is resonating with you, but it also helps the algorithm show this video to more people who may be suffering in silence with sleep issues and apnea. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the perfect time to do so and ensure you don't miss any of the potentially life-changing information we share regularly. The fourth food that's secretly ruining your sleep, especially after age 60, is something many of us consume multiple times a day without a second thought: dairy products, particularly those high in fat. Whole milk, yellow cheeses, ice cream, and other fatty dairy products can increase mucus production in the airways, creating a kind of internal congestion that makes it even harder to breathe during sleep. This effect is particularly problematic for people who already suffer from respiratory conditions like asthma or chronic sinusitis, common comorbidities in sleep apnea patients. Furthermore, many adults over 60 develop some degree of lactose intolerance even if they've never had problems with dairy products before. This intolerance can cause digestive discomfort, reflux, and bloating, all factors that can exacerbate sleep apnea. Acid reflux, in particular, can cause inflammation in the throat and airways, contributing to narrowing and increasing the risk of apnea episodes. A study conducted by the University of Wisconsin followed patients with moderate apnea who eliminated full-fat dairy products from their diet for 30 days and found that 62% of them experienced at least a 20% reduction in the apnea-hypopnea Index, the standard measure of sleep apnea severity. Imagine a person who for decades ended each day with a glass of warm milk, believing it was promoting better sleep. After discovering her sleep apnea at age 67, she decided to try eliminating dairy for a few weeks. To her surprise, not only did her apnea symptoms improve, but she also noticed a significant reduction in morning nasal congestion, which she had mistakenly attributed to seasonal allergies. Her doctor confirmed an objective improvement in her next sleep study, with fewer awakenings and improved oxygenation levels. The fifth and final dietary villain that's drastically compromising your sleep is something many of us use as a crutch. To combat daytime fatigue caused by sleep apnea itself, caffeine. Coffee, black and green teas, soda, chocolate, and even certain medications contain this stimulating substance that can linger in your system for much longer than you might think. What many people don't realize is that after age 60, the body metabolizes caffeine much more slowly. While a young adult can process half of the caffeine consumed in approximately 56 hours, for someone over 60 this time can extend to 810 hours or more. This means that that cup of coffee you had after lunch is still actively stimulating your nervous system when you try to sleep at night. Caffeine not only makes it harder to fall asleep, but also significantly reduces the time spent in the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep. For people with sleep apnea who already experience fragmented sleep due to repeated awakenings caused by episodes of respiratory arrest, this effect is particularly devastating. Furthermore, caffeine is a diuretic that can lead to multiple nighttime awakenings to urinate, further fragmenting sleep. A University of Michigan study found that reducing caffeine consumption afternoon improved sleep quality in 75% of participants with mild to moderate sleep apnea, with many reporting fewer apnea episodes as detected by home sleep monitors. Imagine a person who's struggling with constant fatigue caused by their undiagnosed sleep apnea gradually increase their coffee consumption over the years, reaching 67 cups daily, with the last one usually after dinner. After learning about the impact of caffeine on sleep, especially for their age group, they decided to limit themselves to a single cup in the morning. In the first few weeks, she faced challenging withdrawal symptoms, but after a month, she noticed a surprising improvement in her sleep quality, fewer sleep apnea episodes, as reported by her partner, and ironically more energy during the day, despite drastically reduced caffeine consumption. I need to pause here to ask, have you recognized yourself in any of these eating patterns I just described? Perhaps you've realized that your nightly glass of wine, which seemed to help you relax, may actually be robbing you of quality sleep. Or perhaps you've never made the connection between that late-night snack high in refined carbohydrates and the intense snoring your partner complains about. Or are you one of those people who can't imagine a day without multiple cups of coffee, even though you now know it could be drastically worsening your sleep apnea? This is a time for honest reflection. For years, perhaps decades, many of us develop eating habits without ever considering how they affect our breathing during sleep. And when problems begin to appear, especially after 60, we quickly attribute them simply to age, accepting chronic fatigue, irritability, and lack of energy as normal for this stage of life. I want you to know that you are not alone on this journey, and that recognizing these patterns is the first step to transforming your health. If you've identified with anything I've mentioned so far, I invite you to share your experience in the comments below. Something as simple as writing, "Afternoon coffee is affecting my sleep," or "I never imagined my late-night snack could be worsening my apnea," can not only help others watching this video feel less alone, but also create a supportive community where we can learn from each other. Your personal experience shared courageously could be exactly what someone needs to read today to finally seek help or make changes that could literally save their life. Now that we know the dietary villains that are destroying your sleep, let's talk about the good news. There are foods that can actively combat sleep apnea and transform your quality of life, especially after age 60. The first nutritional hero on this list is foods rich in omega-3s, such as fatty fish, salmon sardines, trout chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. These essential fatty acids have potent anti-inflammatory properties that can significantly reduce airway inflammation, one of the main mechanisms behind obstructive sleep apnea. Omega-3s work at the cellular level, reducing the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines and increasing the production of resolvins and protectins molecules that actively resolve existing inflammation. A study published in the European Respiratory Journal followed patients with moderate sleep apnea who increased their omega-3 intake through food not supplements for 3 months and found an average 31% reduction in the apnea-hypopnea index along with significant improvements in oxygen saturation during sleep. Furthermore, omega-3s support cardiovascular health, which is extremely important for people with sleep apnea who already have an increased risk of heart problems. For older adults, the benefits of omega-3s extend beyond sleep, including supporting brain health and reducing the risk of cognitive decline often associated with untreated sleep apnea. Imagine a person who, after years of suffering from severe sleep apnea, began including wild salmon in their meals 3 times a week and added a tablespoon of chia seeds to their daily breakfast. After just 2 months, they noticed they were using their CPAP machine at a significantly lower pressure and waking up with fewer headaches. His follow-up sleep study confirmed an objective improvement in apnea severity, and his doctor directly linked this change to the dietary changes as no other factors had changed during this period. The second food that can transform your sleep and actively combat sleep apnea is cruciferous vegetables, such as broccoli, kale, cauliflower cabbage, and arugula. These superfoods are rich in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds like sulforaphane and indole 3-carbinol, which not only combat inflammation but also support the body's detoxification. The accumulation of toxins in the body can contribute to chronic inflammation, including in the airways, exacerbating sleep apnea. Furthermore, these vegetables are excellent sources of fiber, which promotes a healthy gut microbiome. Science is increasingly discovering connections between gut health and systemic inflammation, including in the airways. These vegetables are also rich in magnesium, an essential mineral that promotes adequate but not excessive muscle relaxation and sleep quality. For people over 60 who often experience nutritional deficiencies, magnesium is particularly important as its absorption declines with age. A study conducted by Harvard University showed that participants who consumed at least 5 servings of cruciferous vegetables per week were 23% less likely to develop or worsen sleep apnea over an 8-year follow-up period compared to those who rarely consumed these foods. Imagine a person who, after years of conventional treatments with limited results for her apnea, decided to add a large serving of cruciferous vegetables to her daily lunch and dinner. Initially skeptical, she was surprised to notice a gradual improvement in her symptoms after just a few weeks. Her partner reported fewer episodes of interrupted breathing during the night, and she began waking up feeling more rested. Even more impressive, her next polysomnography showed a 27% reduction in apnea episodes without any other changes to her treatment or lifestyle. If you're enjoying this content and learning information that can transform your health, please show your support by liking this video and sharing it with friends or family who may also be struggling with sleep issues. Your engagement not only helps me continue creating educational content, but also allows this potentially life-changing information to reach more people who need it. The third dietary hero in combating sleep apnea, especially for people over 60, are antioxidant-rich fruits, particularly red and purple berries, like blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, cherries, and blackberries. These fruits contain high concentrations of anthocyanins, powerful antioxidants that combat oxidative stress and inflammation. Oxidative stress is particularly relevant to sleep apnea, as repeated episodes of hypoxia, low oxygen levels followed. By reoxygenation during apnea, episodes create a free radical storm in the body. These fruits are also rich in vitamin C, another crucial antioxidant that supports immune system health and airway tissue integrity. Many of these fruits, especially cherries, naturally contain melatonin, the hormone that regulates the sleep-wake cycle, helping to synchronize the body's internal biological clock. This is a significant advantage for older adults who often produce less melatonin naturally as they age. A Louisiana State University study found that drinking tart cherry juice twice daily for 2 weeks resulted in an average 17% reduction in apnea episodes among participants over 65, as well as improving total sleep duration by approximately 84 minutes per night. Imagine a person who's struggling with sleep apnea for years and frustrated with the limited results of their treatments, decided to add a generous serving of berries to their daily breakfast and began drinking a small glass of tart cherry juice. No added sugar a few hours before bed. After a month of following this routine, they noticed not only a significant improvement in sleep quality, but also a reduction in the need for joint pain medication, likely due to the anti-inflammatory effects of these fruits, which benefited multiple body systems simultaneously. The fourth and final transformative food for combating sleep apnea is plant-based sources of tryptophan and magnesium, such as bananas, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and beans. Tryptophan is an essential amino acid your body uses to produce serotonin, a neurotransmitter that is in turn converted into melatonin, the crucial hormone for sleep regulation. Magnesium, on the other hand, is known as the relaxation mineral that helps calm the nervous system and promote deeper, more restorative sleep. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in older adults and is associated with sleep disturbances, including worsening apnea. These foods also provide fiber and high-quality protein that help stabilize blood sugar levels throughout the night, preventing the spikes and dips that can wake you from sleep. A medium banana eaten a few hours before bed, along with a small handful of almonds, can provide the perfect combination of nutrients to promote deeper sleep and reduce the frequency and intensity of apnea episodes. A University of Oxford study showed that magnesium-deficient participants who normalized their levels through dietary changes experienced a 29% improvement in sleep quality and a significant reduction in mild to moderate sleep apnea symptoms. Imagine a person who, after years of waking up in the middle of the night with a feeling of suffocation and palpitations, began systematically including these sources of tryptophan and magnesium in their daily diet, especially at nighttime meals. After a few weeks, they began to notice they were going through entire nights without the frightening awakenings that had become their routine. Their home sleep monitor confirmed a nearly 40% reduction in mild sleep apnea events, allowing them to finally experience longer periods of restorative deep sleep and wake up feeling truly rested for the first time in years. It's important to note that while these foods can have a significant impact on reducing sleep apnea, they work best as part of a holistic approach. Combining these dietary choices with other lifestyle changes can dramatically enhance your results. Maintaining a healthy weight is crucial, as even modest weight loss can significantly reduce the severity of apnea. Regular exercise strengthens not only your cardiovascular system, but also the muscles of your upper airway, reducing the risk of collapse during sleep. Sleeping on your side instead of your back can make a substantial difference, as the supine Position allows the tongue and other soft tissues to fall backward, obstructing the airway. Elevating the head of your bed by about 10–15 centimeters can also help keep your airway more open during sleep. Avoiding the use of sedatives and muscle relaxants when possible and under medical supervision can also significantly improve sleep apnea. Positional therapy, which trains you to sleep in positions that minimize apnea episodes, can be surprisingly effective when combined with the dietary changes we've discussed. For many people, particularly those over 60, the combination of these strategies may be enough to control mild to moderate apnea without the need for more invasive interventions. It's crucial to emphasize that while these dietary changes can dramatically improve your sleep quality and significantly reduce apnea symptoms, they are not a substitute for proper diagnosis and medical follow-up. Sleep apnea is a serious condition with potentially serious health consequences, including an increased risk of hypertension, cardiovascular disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline. If you suspect you have sleep apnea, see a sleep medicine specialist for a comprehensive evaluation, which may include a sleep study, polysomnography. This test, which can be performed in a lab or at home in many cases, monitors your bodily functions during sleep, including airflow, blood oxygen levels, body position, brain activity, and eye and leg movements. Based on the results, your doctor can recommend the most appropriate treatment for your specific case, which can range from lifestyle changes to the use of devices such as CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure, or oral appliances. The important thing is that these dietary changes we've discussed today be seen as complementary to medical treatment, not as replacements. Many patients find that by implementing these dietary changes, they can optimize their conventional treatments, often reducing the pressure required in their CPAP devices or experiencing better results with their oral appliances. When implementing these dietary changes into your daily routine, be patient and realistic. Try to gradually incorporate the beneficial foods while progressively reducing the harmful ones. Start by eliminating the dietary culprit you suspect has the biggest negative impact on your sleep, perhaps that afternoon coffee or the evening wine, and observe how your body responds over the course of a few weeks. Simultaneously, add one of the beneficial foods to your daily diet, such as a generous serving of berries at breakfast or a salmon fillet a few times a week. Keeping a sleep diary can be extremely helpful in this process, noting not only your perceived quality of sleep, but also any foods or beverages consumed in the hours leading up to sleep. Over time, you'll likely notice clear patterns emerging, providing concrete evidence of the connection between your diet and your sleep quality. Remember that your body, especially after age 60, may take longer to adapt to changes and show results. So give yourself at least 3 to 4 weeks with each change before fully evaluating its effects. We've reached the end of this journey of discovery about how your diet may be destroying your sleep, or alternatively, how it can completely transform it. Reviewing what we learned today, the 5 worst foods that destroy your sleep and worsen apnea, especially after age 60, are refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, alcohol-saturated and trans fats, high-fat dairy and caffeine. On the other hand, the 4 dietary heroes that can actively combat sleep apnea are foods rich in omega-3s, cruciferous vegetables, antioxidant fruits, especially red and purple and plant-based sources of tryptophan and magnesium. Sleep apnea isn't simply a nighttime inconvenience or an inevitable consequence of aging. It's a serious condition that, if left untreated, can rob you not only of your energy and quality of life, but also of years of your life expectancy. The good News is that you have more control over this condition than you probably realize. Every meal represents an opportunity for choice, a chance to fuel your body with nutrients that promote healthy airways and restorative sleep, or alternatively, with foods that silently aggravate inflammation and compromise your breathing during sleep.